Eastern time. The time has come to do some prep every day, prepping every day, all the time. According to the prep calendar, we're going to be working on Saltmarsh tonight. According to my prepping chart, this might be some of the last prep that we really need to do. Yeah. It's certainly prep that I want to get done ahead of time, so that's why we're going to work on it now, just in case. Alright, so I have two different Saltmarsh games thanks to Roll20's transmog tool. I can trade back and forth between them as needed, so that's good to know. I do got some posties here of reminders of things that I was supposed to do all week for the Sun campaign that I haven't done, so I should probably knock these posties out first. Let's see. First and foremost, I was going to make a how many days are left thingy to put on their landing page, since they're in the countdown timer. Alright, so I left them on their ship, which isn't necessarily a bad place to leave them, because they are getting ready to go and deal with Dragon Turtle. But I always like in movies where there's a countdown, and video games where it's like real ominous, like blah, like tells you how many days or how many hours are left on the countdown. Kind of gets that anxiety going a little bit. Sometimes there could be good anxiety. So we're gonna make that real quick and update their calendar, and then also let's see. I did this post-it note already and didn't actually end up needing it because they made friends with the Sahaugen instead of killing them. Let's see. I have no idea what this post-it note even means. Okay. These are notes about things that are happening in the next few days, so those will have to be updated on the calendar as well. Alright. So, let's go over to Photoshop. I'm going to go ahead and open up a document that I call map labels. I think it's called map labels. I don't know. It'd be cool if I had like a naming convention and I just stuck with it. I don't know. That's crazy talk though. Let's see. Map label. Yeah, that sounds about right. And all we're going to do with this map label is we're going to make some variations that are just like, yeah, like what day, how many days are left. Alright, so we'll call this basic bitch. There we go. And then we'll duplicate it. Alright, so we'll turn that one off. We don't need a map marker for it, we just need the text. This is currently my favorite font. It is called Cup and Talon. I use it for a lot of stuff. Alright, 8 days left. Fits beautifully. Alright. Let's see. We're going to make sure that it's centered, though. Alright, and we'll get it right in the center. Where's the center guide? Center guide. Where are you? Oh, 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 oh. There we go. Okay. And we're going to change the color to be more of like a dirty brownish color. So let's do color overlay. And we'll select a brown, kind of dirty brown color. Alright. It'd be cool if we could preview it. I think I'd actually like to be a little darker. Or redder. Let's see. Yeah, like a dried blood color might be good. Yeah, there we go. Alright, and then we'll throw a drop shadow on it because, you know, we're amateurs. There we go. Sweet. Let's see. Can't really see how big it is without an actual background. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Alright, that'll work. Alright, so for this, we're just going to do days 08. And then technically my other group never got their countdown timer, so I'm just going to work my way through all the numbers real quick and just knock them out. So it'll be days 10. And I put a 08 beforehand so that they, when they get listed numerically, it doesn't go 1 and then 10. You know what I mean? So that's what that's about. Alright. Well, there we go. And the idea here is we can make a table for this, so we can just change the table out so we don't have to actually keep track of like a bunch of different stuff. And I've seen some people make some pretty fun timers, way nicer than what I'm making right now. Let's see. Alright, and then 6. But yeah, the idea is they've got this impending doom coming. It'll be cool to have this on the map page and their ship page, sort of this constant hovering reminder that they only have so much time left to go. Alright. Now, I'm not a fan of campaign timers, hey man, being on all the time. I think it could negatively impact your game quite a bit if you have timers on all the time. But one of the best game timers I've ever seen was in Mass Effect 2, where you play the game, you're playing the game, and then you get to a certain point where it's like, bro, it's going to get real from here on out. So you better do the things that you want to do, because it's over soon. And if you didn't do it right, you didn't play your cards right, there were things that didn't happen. And if you didn't do all the things that needed to happen, people died. So alright. And that'll say the final day. Alright, and since they're all the same size, it'll make a really nice table token. So let's go in here and go to our tables, of which there are quite a few. There we go. I'm going to add a new table, and we're going to call this table countdown. There we go. And we're going to start adding items to it. And Roll20 seems to react best when you just drag stuff onto it, so that is what we will do. Alright, so 10 days left. Good. 9 days left. Good. Anytime you search for a file, it's like there's only maybe like a 30% chance, it feels like, that Roll20 is actually going to bother finding what you're looking for, is kind of the math that I've seen. But when you drag something, there's a much better chance that it accepts it. And I don't know why that is, but alright. Working through here. Now, I have selected a pretty cool boss to use for the final boss stats, and that's another thing I'm going to try to knock out today. Try not to stream too much today, because I did like 2 hours of streaming earlier where I wrote an entire adventure from scratch just using random generator prompts, and it actually turned out pretty cool. I think it's going to be a pretty fun adventure. Alright, going to be running that on Wednesday as sort of a bonus one-shot, because I got a new game starting in October, and It's like a really long campaign. It's going to be like 2 years long. And I don't just want to select people for the game based on them applying for the game, because you can say anything on an application. I'd actually like to play D&D with the people before I make a decision if they're going to be in the campaign or not. So I'm offering like a free one-shot to kind of see what everybody's like when they're playing D&D. Now, admittedly, it's going to be like, I guess, people at their best behavior. So I don't know. But I feel like it's better than nothing. For sure. All right. So there's the token, looking pretty cool. Make it big and ominous at the top of the page. And then as the days change, we go to the slider, and we can slide it to how many days are left. Cool. So when they log in, they just see that thing staring them in the face of how many days they have left. And we'll go ahead and put it on their start page as well. Of course, that means we got to remember to update it on 2 different pages, but it's all good. Ooh, that's tremendously big. That might be a little too big. Let's see. Hard to see those light blue handles. There we go. Definitely not accessible. Alright, so we'll probably just make it like that, because they're not traveling that far north anytime soon. Sweet. Okay, so that's taken care of. So now we got to jump into our calendar real quick and update the calendar. And then, after we update the calendar, we can go and finish the other thing. I do have a post-it note here that they wanted to get XP for defeating the Baron. I guess they're hoping to get enough XP to level. More experienced player who has been in a XP-based game 120 already has mathed it out that they've more than likely leveled again into 12. Sun Group is just so far ahead of Moon Group, it's crazy. They're like speed running the campaign at this point. Alright. So, I use Google, which isn't the greatest, and everybody that's gonna, at me with OneNote or whatever, I get it. There's other alternatives out there, but I'm just gonna use, I'm gonna keep using Google. But let me get the spreadsheet loaded up real quick. But I use a spreadsheet to track my players, their progress, their NPCs, and of course the campaign calendar itself. It looks like this. There we go. All right. So, all right. So this red date right here represents when the moon game is going to end. So they did not, you can see that Sun is so much further ahead, Sun is the yellow bar, than the other group. But these guys do have the timer started now, so it's going to be a whole thing. Now I'm ignoring weather now, which the weather was already set for like a Pacific Northwest climate anyways, because Sword Coast. But everything is just pounding rain, downpour, that kind of stuff, because the weather has kind of shifted for the end of the campaign. But it's a pretty cool calendar, because it also provides like wind speeds and directions, and weather for the day, explanation of the weather, lows and highs for temperatures, cycle of the moon. It's got it all. It's doing all that stuff. So it's just another thing that adds a little bit more immersion to the campaign. All right, so we've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is where we left off, is on the 7th day of Flame Rule. So they're definitely in summer at this point. Alright, so that was Keldek died. They did some research. They went over to the merfolk. They went over to the Sahaugen. Now they're heading over to the Dragon Turtle. So I'll put a little comment here, just so I remember. This is also where they betrayed their merfolk allies because they're bad guys. Alright. And let's see. There we go. Okay. So that's taken care of there. Let's see. From here, yeah. This is where I'm supposed to be calculating this post-it note right here that says quartermaster within 5 days, 1K a day, 7K for guns. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the comment tool again, and I'm just going to say 1K a day for Garuda, 4 guns. Because Garuda basically sold all the guns he's been making for the whole campaign. There we go. And the cool thing about commenting tool in Google Sheets is that you can comment on the comments, you can change the comments if you need to, but they disappear until you hover over them, which is pretty useful. But if you've lost track of them, you can mouse over the comment tool at the bottom of the page here, and it will show you, like on screen, where all your comments are currently hiding, so that you can go and check them out, which is pretty cool. Alright, so that sheet is done as well. I'll spare you guys the calculation of XP because it's super boring, and soon will never happen again in my life, at least for a while, I hope, because I'm switching to milestones. So let us start figuring out this final boss fight. Alright, so here's the finale map. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. And then here's Big Lady, who is very hungry. Here's Big Hungry Lady. Alright. So, we got Big Hungry Lady, and she is an Elder Evil, or Kraken, or some combination of the two. I was running a one-shot for Extra Life last month, and I stumbled upon a stat block that I didn't actually need, because I was sort of bastardizing the adventure to make it just a single adventure instead of a bunch of adventures. I want to say the adventure is called... let's see. Where is that adventure? Okay. It was through Shizupiku. So let me see if I can find it on my computer. Let's see, PDFs. Oh man, I have so many. I can't for the life of me remember the name of this adventure. Adventure Hearth, maybe? Yeah, here we go. Okay. So this was the adventure by DM Dave, Hearth, Quest for the Shunned City. And the reason I even looked at this adventure was, one, I'm always enamored with the quality of his products. They're just absolutely phenomenal. And two, he has he has a partnership with Shizupiku, and I was using their map to make a one-shot, and I wanted to see what he did with the map. He did some crazy stuff with this map, way beyond anything that I was prepared to do. Also, this seems to me it would probably take about, I want to say, 6 3-hour sessions to get through, but it looks like a pretty amazing adventure. There's a lot of jungle stuff, a lot of Indiana Jones temple type stuff. It's pretty cool. At the end of this adventure, you end up doing battle with like a big ass god, essentially, which is pretty incredible based on how low in level you are. So I was like, huh, yeah, I guess that would kind of work. So I'm scrolling down and showing you, I guess, the entire adventure rapidly. Let's see. Yeah, but look at this. This includes handouts for all the puzzles. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. Alright, here's the list of NPCs. So, let's see. Did I skip it? Maybe it's in the table of contents. Nope. There are no bookmarks. Okay. That's unfortunate. So where are the NPC stat blocks? Oh, you know what? I think they keep the monsters in a separate document. Alright, hold on. Monsters of the Hearth. There we go. Okay. Which honestly is not a bad way to do it. That way there's less flipping back and forth. Okay. So the boss of this is some kind of huge ancient elder god kind of thing. But the stat block actually looked pretty close to something that I could use. Here it is. The black Tezcatlipoca. Tezcatlipoca. Alright. What attracted me to it is that this creature is big. It is evil. And it is hungry. So it has some hunger-based moves. And it's also a far realm creature. So that also kind of sits with what we need. So yeah, I thought this would be a good creature to start with. And then we could always mash some Kraken parts onto it if we needed to. The cool thing about the work that DM Dave does is that his documents are all accessible, so we should be able to do some copy pasting, which is so nice instead of having to, retype everything. So let's see, she who hungers, right, and I guess we'll get her picture. Let's see. And did I save it as Hungers, or did I actually put her full name? Nah, I just put she Hungers. Okay. You don't want to say the name of these Eldritch beings too much. Oh, yeah, the Mythic Kraken from Odyssey of Theros. Yeah. That's a good idea. Also, it would be a good... I feel like final boss, this is a great opportunity to throw out, yet again, that mythic traits. So that could be pretty cool, too. There's also going to be a mechanic where the good guys can absorb the souls that are coming out of this thing and use them to power up, whereas the bad guys can absorb the souls to power up, and then the good guys set the souls free and gain the same exact effect. It's kind of like Bioshock. You could kill the little girls to get their power, or you could save the little girls to get their power. It's the same idea. Alright. So, we've got She Who Hungers here. Let's get that token out of here. And that's all we have, so let's get to work. Alright, it's going to be an NPC. There's her name. And she is a gargantuan aberration. Okay. And she is so evil. Alright. And let's see. They've only got our armor class at a 17. Each of my groups has a sharpshooter. So I feel like a 17 ain't gonna fly. Because they're just gonna be sharpshooting the hell out of her. Now, they're gonna like sharpshooting the head of her, and it's gonna be really fun. But you gotta understand that each of them makes 2 or 3 shots per round. The one guy is a gunslinger, so he has grit points that can cause a better crit range, and the other is a cheese elf, so she can do triple advantage, so she more than likely is going to get a crit. The one with the gunslinger, they have extreme crit cards, so that could be pretty bad for her as a big final boss. whereas the other group does not. It's just a bunch of damage dice. So I either need to increase the armor class, or I need to keep the armor class low and just give her a ridiculous amount of hit points, or I could do both. So we'll see. I think I'm going to compromise, though, and do both. So we'll give her a 20 armor class to start. Because she is covered in, like, fish scales and all that jazz. As far as hit points go, we're going to leave that ephemeral for now. The stat block we're copying is a 16d20 plus 128 for a grand total of 296. But it is not meant to be a campaign like ender so much as like an adventure path ender. So it could be this many hit points, and then she switches forms to like mythic form or whatever. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, hit points. Oh, I put all that stuff in the wrong place because I was thinking about other stuff. There we go. So her armor class is 296, so she's never going to get hit. That's cool. All right. Sweet. Speed. She big. So she got a 60-foot speed, 60-foot climb, and 60-foot swim. But she's so big that, you know, not having a flight speed isn't going to hurt her too bad. Let's see. Strength. Now, I had considered downloading, well, I'd have to, you know, purchasing and downloading this, basically a book about kaijus and how to make, like, colossal enemies. So I may update this, but I want to get something down just so that I have it written down. So we're just going to give her 30 strength, because she's the size of a building. Well, she's this bigger than a building, in some cases. She can keep her 17 dex. We'll give her a 30 constitution. Apparently very smart, so 19 ints, like aberrations do. 21 wisdom and 29 charisma. Has not been given any proficiencies in saves, just because the stats themselves are so high. That's something we may or may not revisit. Now, for whatever reason, she has a bunch of skills. And usually I let skills kind of decide a bit of how the character would play out. So she is deceptive, has training in arcana, history, insight, perception, and persuasion. So this would explain why she gets all these people to work for her and these warlocks to do her bidding, etc., etc. All right. So let's see. Again, these are unusual skills for a big kaiju monster to have, so they don't really play too heavily into this, but the deception will pretty much shut down the Inquisitive Rogue's ability to grant advantage and so on and so forth. But really, she has so many things she does with her bonus action now that hardly ever comes into play, especially with the advent of the aim skill. Alright. I feel like a creature that big should have training in athletics, but they're so big that I guess it wouldn't really matter. Alright, so let's see. For senses, it's going to have True Sight, Dark Vision 300, and a passive perception of 22, which is pretty cool. Alright, now they did give it damage, vulnerability, radiant. Damage vulnerability, always a risky move, but we might leave it in. Let's see. And damage immunities, it has none. I feel like it should probably have poison in addition to everything else. So it's immune to any non-magical attacks, which I doubt is going to come into play. Condition immunities. It's got the nice boss grocery list here. Should also add stun to the list. And let's see. Charmed, frightened, exhausted, poisoned, prone, stunned. Okay. Let's see. Damage immunities. We'll also put poison on the list. Poison just doesn't get any love in any edition of D&D, really. Let's see. Languages. Deep speech. And telepathy. Fantastic. Let's see. Challenge rating. According to the stat block that we're already making more difficult, it's already a 23. And the token size, I guess, is a 10 across, which is pretty nuts. It doesn't actually have any spells, which is interesting. But we will give it legendary actions and mythic actions. And reactions. Alright, let's see. We're going to hide the name, we're going to auto-roll, we're never going to whisper, we're always going to roll advantage. Cool. So that section is done. So now we start putting the stuff in here. Alright. Devil Sight. So basically... Okay. Nothing gets in the way of her dark vision. Cool. And then, let's see. Deep Weapons. Causes psychic damage on our attacks. I didn't think we had to explain that, but okay. Alright. And then Far Banishment. When it drops to 0 health or dies, its body is destroyed, but its essence travels back to the far plane, and it's unable to take physical form for a time. Sure. We'll see how that gets affected by the mythic forms and such. Alright, let's see. And then we got legendary resistances, of course. Can't have a campaign closer without that. Magic resistance. Good choice, good choice. Alright. Maddening Presence. Here we go. Whenever a creature can see her, it must make a DC 19 Wisdom saving throw at the start of each of its turns, or take 4 whole psychic damage. Wow, okay. If a creature accumulates 3 successes within a minute, it is immune to the effect. Yeah, we're gonna have to steroid that thing up a little bit. Let's see. Maybe. It's almost like, why keep track for that low of a chip damage? I feel like it should just automatically be 5 damage within an aura, like a 5th edition, or sorry, a 4th edition boss would have. I don't know. Let's see. Then we got multi-attack up here. Alright. So, what do we got? This creature has a bite, a proboscis, which is kind of gross, a barbed lash. It can create spawn. Deep reach conjures a large tendril in an unoccupied space on a surface it can see within 120 feet. The tendril has an AC of 16, 60 hit points, and all of its damage. This will be kind of cool, because that is in line with an ability it gives to Afra. So I'm liking that quite a bit. Alright. Okay. So, let's see. I think her claws almost sort of need to be their own monster, but it would be easier to just manage everything off of one sheet. So, let's see. Okay. 20 8, 30, so 10. Okay, so she's plus 17 to hit with her attacks, which means that she's more than likely going to hit on every single attack. And she's the size of a building, so that's a whole nother thing. Given that she is so big, and their hands are so big, I feel like her reach would be... Let's just assume she's standing like here. 120? That seem fair? Their arm? Yeah. 120-foot melee reach. On the bright side, they won't be causing a lot of opportunity attacks. Alright. Let's see. And this does a 4d12 plus 8. Plus 2d8 psychic. Okay. Alright, and these are slashing. I feel like she would, if something that big hit you, knock you down. Sounds about right. So, let's do something about that. Creatures struck by this attack must strength save DC 20 or be knocked prone. Alright, let's see. I just feel like there's got to be some kind of impact when something that big hits you. Let's see. Do we really need a barb to lash? Probably not. It seems like overcomplications of what's already going on here. Alright, so let's do create spawn. There we go. And we'll kind of come back and branch this out a little bit later. Deep reach. This is the thing with the tentacles. There we go. Oh yeah, the Hungries from Mordenkainen. Yep, these cuties right here. Perfect. They even look like fish people. The little webbed hands. Oh, it's perfect. Okay. Oh my god. The challenge rating 11. That's wow. 225 hit points. That's significant. Okay. We'll probably only need to spawn like one at a time then. Alright, so let's see. Alright, so she'll spawn one hunger. Okay, within 100 feet of it. There we go. Alright, she can have no more than 8 such... Oh my god, 8 such hungers? Sure. Alright, should probably cap it at maybe 4 such hungers. Could make weaker versions of the hungers. Yeah, we'll see. Alright, and then we got this constrict here, which kind of goes with the Kraken idea. So... And these go off of the... one target within reach of a tendril. Blah, 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 blah. Alright. I kind of like how there's a bunch of monsters and parts on this sheet, but they sort of all work off of the same sheet, which is kind of cool. Let's see. Hungering Void. Each creature within 60 feet must succeed on a DC 8 strength saving throw, be knocked prone, and pulled up to 20 feet towards her. She then makes a bite attack against each creature that is pulled within 5 feet of her. I like it, but I feel like if something this big ate you, you would just end up inside of it. I definitely feel like she would probably be eating people, though. So... yeah. Alright, so let's give her a bite attack then. Okay. And we'll make the bite attack similar to something that eats people. Let's see. I think the bite within reach of her big miniature. I feel like it should be a two-parter. Like the hand will grapple you. Yeah. Or become grappled and restrained. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So she knocks some people down, she picks some people up. Mostly I think she'd just be picking people up, because then she'd be shoveling them towards her mouth. I mean, that just makes sense. The ultimate big guy that eats people, of course, is the Tarask. So let's go and grab some Tarask eat you goodness. Here we go. There's no reason to give her frightful presence, honestly. I mean, she should be frightening already, but everyone at this level is on Heroes Feasts, so, I mean, what are you going to do at that point? Alright, so let's see. We'll give her a swallow on par or close to the Tarask. Here we go. And let's see. Here's the bite. Here we go. Alright. So swallow, bite attacks against a large creature is grappling. So if it's grappling with its hands, it then just bites with its mouth and eats them. Okay, so we don't really need her to be grappling with her mouth, because she could just do a swallow instead. Alright, that works. Okay, we'll give her like 20-foot reach from her actual body, but she's got them long-ass arms. Alright, so her bite then, which should do the 40-12, and the other one will do the lower end of the dice scale. Okay. And then, of course, there's the 2d8 psychic. Alright. This would be a terrible fight for a barbarian. Bear barbarian. Let's see. Bear barbarian would probably want to be eaten, so it wouldn't take stuff. The psychic damage. Creature stuck with... Okay, so we're going to drop this down to 48. Plus 10, plus the psychic damage. Alright, she creates hunger, she creates tentacles. Okay, all that seems good. Alright, what does she do with her legendary actions? Alright, so according to this, she commands her spawn. Alright. Okay. A tendril not grappling a creature can still be teleported to a different space. That's alright, I guess. Okay. What else? Command legions. Each tentacle... let's see. Can either move at speed or make a single attack. A tendril not grappling creature can instead be teleported to a different unoccupied space. Okay, so for 2, she can activate a whole bunch. That's kind of cool. I don't see how it would ever have the traction to drop down multiples of any of this stuff, but maybe that's part of the mythic thing. Alright. The hungry ability? Like from the hungry monster? Let's see. Life hunger. If a creature the hunger can see regains hit points, the hunger gains 2 benefits until the end of its turn. It has advantage on attack rolls, and its bite deals extra damage. I think that her DPS isn't really the problem. I think it's... The DPS is going to be fine. I just wonder how she's going to keep up. I feel like she needs some recovery more than anything else. But, I mean, she could just have a metric oil tanker of hit points, a la 4th edition, and not worry about it. Alright. Let's check out the Kraken. There should be a mythic version of the Kraken. Okay. Tomb of Beasts, Ghost of Saltmarsh, Kraken Priest, Kraken Lair. Why are none of the monsters for Theros showing up? Let's see. Oh, because they have special names, I think. That's right. Let me go to D&D Beyond. Yeah, that's the issue. She's going to just be taking mad hits. So much damage. She's going to be taking so much damage. The ranger in my moon group deals more damage by herself than than the other 5 people on the team. Like, she deals so much damage as a sharpshooter. And then the sharpshooter gunslinger in the morning group, same deal. Easily outpaces the rest of the party for damage. So the issue here is she's just going to take so much damage. So she definitely needs some recovery moves. Now, if she had a bunch of mooks that she could like scoop up in her hands and like throw back like a fistful of Skittles, that would definitely help. So I could have like mobs of Sahaugen that come out, and they basically don't contribute to the fight so much as they're just swimming around in the fishbowl with her. Tromocratus. Oh, there he is. Alright. I don't want to spoil too much from him, because I kind of want to use him in my Odyssey game, like, as is. But we could take a couple of peeks at what he's got. Alright. Most powerful creatures a group of adventurer might face. Alright. It uses its hearts to the Kraken mythic trait. When this happens, it calls upon a reserve of strength, just as it appears to be vanquished. After its hearts are exposed, it can choose one of its mythic actions when it uses a legendary action. Okay, so the mythic actions become available halfway through the fight. When it is reduced to 0 hit points, it doesn't die or fall unconscious. Instead, it creates a crack in the carapace, revealing its hearts. Okay, I'm kind of living for that. That's pretty cool. They have 4 hearts, 2 in their chest, 1 in their back, 1 in the base of their tail. Okay, so location-based bad guy. Cool. It is immune to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magic attacks. It is immune to all conditions. If it is forced to make a saving throw, treat its ability scores as 10, so +0. Finishes a short rest, the character's heals, any destroyed hearts regenerate, and the hearts are covered again. It dies when all of its hearts are destroyed. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That would give her some tanky abilities. Yeah, I kind of do want to throw that in there. Alright, especially with the sharpshooters, they're going to have a field day shooting them hearts. Okay. We got to include stuff that'll be fun for everybody. So let's do that. Obviously, she's going to be a siege monster. Spell-resistant carapace. Oh, wow. Advantage and spell attack rolls have disadvantage. That's even better than magic resistance. Piercer tail, tentacle grasp. This thing's in a weight class way above, I think, even what we're making here. Maybe. I don't know. Its damage is kind of the same, but its DCs for everything are way higher. Let's see. Throwing people. That's kind of cool. Just like a kraken. I like the idea of She Who Hungers just straight scooping people up, people and souls, and just eating them. So I definitely want to give her recovery. Alright, so we'll do this one at a time. Mythic actions. Alright, we'll put Hungering Hearts. There we go. And close that up. And let's see. We will take the Hunger ability, because that's kind of in line with the Sahaugen that have Bloodlust or whatever. But not as powerful. Like, she doesn't really need help hitting you, because she's already got a plus 17. Let's see. It has advantage on attack rolls. Yeah, this way she's only spiteful against someone that has regained hit points. Advantage on attack rolls. Well, it's really anybody, and I can't imagine a round would go by where they're not going to be healing themselves. Let's see. Okay, and it can... There we go. It can spawn an additional... There we go. It can spawn an additional... here we go. And it can use Deep Reach as a reaction. There we go. So this would kind of be more of a reaction ability anyways. So we'll put that here. Alright. So less damage and more just adding more stuff to kind of synergize with the other abilities. Okay, that works pretty good. Yeah. And then this works better because she's so big, and then the hearts and all that jazz. If Roll20 could handle, like, animation, maybe it could. Maybe we could do an animated token of a beating heart. That would be kind of hype. If we could do a beating heart. Yeah, let me make a note that I should track down a beating heart token. Because then she'll have those beating hearts and her hands. So that'll be another thing. Okay. I feel like the hungers are too strong on their own at CR 11. Maybe I'll limit it to 2. Alright. She can have no more than 2 such creatures. There we go. And we'll give her an ability called Consume. Anytime She Who Hungers swallows a creature, she gains, let's say, 20 temp HP. I should keep her going a little bit longer. Alright. Ooh, you know it'd be a cool attack? If she had something called, like, Scoop. So... She Who Hungers makes a claw attack against everything in anything sharing a space with her claw token. There we go. That's crazy. So that'll allow her to scoop up multiples And then we'll put under grapple, there is no limit to how many huge or smaller creatures she who hungers can grapple at once. There we go. So she scoop up a bunch of people, and then she drop them in her mouth like a bowl of Skittles. That seems pretty good. Alright, so the idea is she's going to scoop up a bunch of peeps, drop them in. Oh, yeah, we should lower the HP of the hungers. Make them more like 4E advanced minions. Like, strong, hit hard, but also go down easy. Alright, so that kind of works there. Okay, and then... I do like the idea of, like, swarms of... she's brought, like, swarms of Anguillians and Sahaugen with her. We can make all of those minions as well. Gosh. A mythic action that activates once her hearts are in play. Let's see. So down here, when her mythic actions kick in, which I think this is actually supposed to go under her description, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, here we go. Further, she gains access to her mythic actions. Let's see. What is his mythic action? Legendary actions. I am just not seeing it. Alright, most powerful creature. I thought this one didn't have mythic actions. Mythic monsters, mythic traits. Oh, there's a second sheet for the other part? Oh, this part right here. It says, as a mythic encounter. I'm not really seeing it. I guess let me look it up in D&D Beyond. Alright, there's its mythic actions. I don't know why. Whatever. Alright, so this guy's mythic actions are Rampage, make 2 attacks, one with its tail, one with its tentacle grasp. Cool. And Coral Growth. Each creature within 10 feet must make 25 dexterity saving throw, taking 13 slashing on a failed save, or as much on a successful one until the start of its next turn. I don't know. Each creature with dexterity saving throw. I could see on this particular creature it working, but yeah, like I could see having a way for it to gain armor would be good, but okay, here's an idea. What if there was a mythic action where she linked the life force of someone to one of her hearts. Your heart and mine. And essentially, if damage was done to the heart, damage would also be done to the person damaging the heart, or like half the damage would be dealt to the people. I don't know, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah. So, your heart and mine. And we'll make it a charisma saving throw. Okay. Your heart becomes linked to one of she who hungers. Whenever that heart takes damage, you take half of the damage dealt to the heart. This damage cannot be mitigated in any way. There we go. Should they get a repeat saving throw? Probably. You can repeat the save to end this effect at the end of your turn. Yeah, until they make the save, they don't want to mess with that heart because you'll kill one of our peeps. Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. And most of the time facing doesn't matter, but I'll definitely, well, and again for the sharpshooters it won't matter, but I'll definitely consider facing to be a thing for that second half of the fight. Yeah. Alright, that's pretty cool. It'll look pretty cool with like like 4 beating hearts appearing on the screen, and then we'll play the heartbeat music in the background, which will be a throwback to the underwater dungeon where there's a heartbeat playing. So that'll kind of tie things back together. So that'll be pretty cool. We'll have a bunch of Sahaugan mooks just sort of pouring into the area. It's technically not her lair, but the other thing I wanted to explore was what would happen since it's a lair for everybody, essentially. Like, I like the idea that the bad guys will have hijacked the souls, and the good guys, the souls will be trying to escape. So giving the good guys a lair action instead of the bad guys might be kind of fun. So I like the idea of creating layer actions that, as a group, or as individuals, when 20 comes up, they get to pick one benefit, and then they have it for that round. Might be a nice change of pace. Be the good guys and have layer action for once. So, I think that would probably involve like a temp HP, which would be good. Let's see. Maybe a damage boost, and then a movement thing. So like flight for the round, just for the round, would be cool. And because they're layer actions, you can't choose the same one twice in a row. That could actually be pretty cool. Alright. Yeah. Alright, I'm digging it. And let's see. What else? Shield your heart. Okay. It costs a legendary action, but close the muscles and scales around a heart that has been attacked. Its AC goes up by 5 until the start of your next turn. So that could be kind of cool, and a good way to kind of burn through some of those legendary actions as well. Alright, I'm digging that. And then she's making a tentacle with a bonus action almost every round, because as long as anybody is regaining hit points, and that's the cool thing about the layer action giving them temp hit points, because that's not the same thing as regaining hit points. So they could kind of play that route as well. I like that she could scoop shit up. That's pretty cool. I think scooping should cost both claw attacks. So counts as both claw attacks. Alright. So she would only be able to do one on her turn. So let's see. She makes 2 claw attacks. A bite attack. And a bite or swallow. So if she gets you with the hand, she's got you inside. I mean, that kind of does that. Alright. And then these other things, the deep reach and the constrict, they're their own thing. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm gonna do like, when I go to clean this up, I'll do, basically, Control F while I have it selected. And then it'll show me all the ones that I need to change. And then I'll just go in and paste, like, She Who Hungers over all of them. But I'm gonna wait until I'm totally done with it, and then kind of clear all those up. Because I also have to go in and remove the Tarrasque, as well. And I might lower the amount of damage to get her to make a Constitution save to barf up. Because her Constitution save is a +10, so it's going to be 50-50 anyways. It is nice to have a boss that's not a spellcaster, because then you don't have to worry about being counterspelled, because you're just a big kaiju monster that's fighting and smashing and killing. So that'll be kind of cool. But since she has training in Arcana, and she's got insight and really good perception, it's like she's going to know, like, what targets prioritize, plus the hit points, not the hit points, the, let's see, yeah, her intelligence score in general will just kind of push her in that direction. Alright, so her original form is going to be pretty squishy. But then she's got this other form where you gotta destroy the hearts. So that kind of opens things up quite a bit, which is good. And she does have a heal move, in that for every creature she eats, she gets temp HP. Let's see. How about this? For every creature she swallows, She Who Hungers gains, we'll just say 10 temp HP. That way, if she does start scooping up her own peeps, that's a little bit more health. We'll go 15. There we go. And then if she needs a bunch of HP, she'll just kind of waste a turn, using 2 claw attacks to scoop up some people and eat. I'm doing like the math right now of like a 6-man party with pets and NPCs, and I feel like if she spent a whole turn doing that and then had to rely on her legendary actions, she would not be getting much forward momentum going there. It would just be I'm wasting everybody's time by trying to stay alive. So, but if it's a side effect of eating and killing good guys, then every little boost to hit points helps, I guess. So there is that. We're gonna make the Sahaugen 4E minions, so they're just gonna have 1 HP. So any attack will kill them, unless it's an area effect attack, because minions in 4E all have evasion. So if they make a save against an AoE attack, they don't take any damage from the AoE attack, and they keep going, essentially. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, commands respond, so she would get that even while she's stuffing her face, and then it's 2 actions from her ledger action to do all of them. So if every round, as a bonus action, she's been pumping out these tentacles, every time, you know, she sees somebody doing that, she uses her reaction. Let's see. We don't need to say as a reaction because this is a reaction. Use deep reach. There we go. And she doesn't need her reaction for anything else, which is good. Though I guess shield your heart would count as a reaction. So she'd have to, once her hearts were exposed, she might be less inclined to poop out her life hunger stuff. So that'll be kind of interesting to have to choose between the two. I'm not really sure about Maddening Presence, because it just doesn't seem very interesting. Like, it's chip damage that we have to check for, and then you have to track the number of successes and stuff like that. It just seems like a pain in the ass. I'd say, like, Confusion, but that could shut down the fight. But at this level, everybody's going to have advantage to Wisdom saving throws. So I don't know. Maybe Maddening Presence actually causing madness might work. I don't know. Let's see. When a creature at the start of its turns, yeah, because Confusion, there's still a chance that you'll get to take your turn anyways, and they're gonna have advantage to the Wisdom saves. All right. And then you would be happy about accumulating successes because you would want to be immune to the effect. Yeah. Alright, that makes sense. Suffer the effects of a confusion spell. Alright. Okay. That's pretty good. And we'll lower the DC so that with the advantage you already have, there's a good chance you're not going to fail it. Okay, other than that, it's all looking pretty good. Hits like a freaking truck with this extra psychic damage. We might be able to just drop the psychic damage, honestly, especially if we're adding a confusion effect. So, I know like a barbarian's not going to care too much about it, but 4d8 plus 10, and she could drop it as an AoE and then scoop you up and then eat you, is pretty significant. So, yeah, I like the idea of her hitting hard, but I feel like that extra 2d8 is just going to be too much. So I'm going to take that out. Because she's also going to have ads and everything else. And we're only going to have enough ads that however many NPCs they bring with them can handle the challenge as well. So, alright. That sounds good. And we'll do 50 damage in a single turn, which of course she's going to take 50 damage in a single turn to see if she regurgitates them back out. I think 16 d6 acid damage might be a little overboard. This might be where we could add some psychic damage. Let's do 66 acid damage. And then we'll add the 2d8 psychic damage. There we go. Alright, and if it takes damage, barf you out, swallow creature is no longer restrained, it can escape from the corpse by using 30 feet of movement, sure. Okay, so that works. Constrict. Alright, deep tendril constrict. I feel like this needs to be made into an actual attack. Because for some reason it's not. So let's do that. Okay. Alright. And this also kind of hits like a truck. What is this? Bludgeoning? But it's not especially accurate, so there is that. Alright. Let's do 1d12 bludgeoning and 1d8 psychic. There we go. Alright. There we go. That works. Cool. Alright. Yeah, I'm liking where this is going. I like where this is going quite a bit. Oh, yeah. If they're grappling the target, they could send health over to her. That works. Okay. That would be this constrict right here. Okay. If a creature begins its turn grappled by... Oh, no, even better. Any psychic damage dealt by this attack heals she who hungers. Perfect. Just a little bit more chip healing to kind of add to the panic of how do we put this thing down, and then when they see those flaps open up and the hearts appear, there's going to be like hope that they could actually do this shit. So that'll be cool. All right. Yeah. All right. I feel like consume should be a passive, not so much a legendary action. So let me move that over to her passive. There we go. Alright. And let's see. What else does this creature have going on? Oh yeah, it's got Hungering Void. Each creature within 60 feet must succeed on a DC saving throw or be knocked prone and pulled up to 20 feet towards her. I feel like she's already accomplishing that by just grabbing people and scooping them up and eating them. So I don't feel like that's an issue. Alright. Cool. I think what we have... Ooh, legendary could be Wall of Water. That's a spell. Let's see. Alright, you conjure a wall of water on the ground at a point you can see within range. You can make the wall up to 30 feet long, 10 feet high, 1 foot thick. She's so big, though. I mean, it would block line of sight for people, but I don't, you know... What if she put someone inside a ring? That could work. Or a hemisphere. Yeah, a ringed wall up to 20 feet in diameter, 20 feet high, 1 foot thick. The wall vanishes when the spell ends. Any ranged attack. Yeah, okay. So... we can make that her last one. Walls of water. Okay. She who hungers creates a wall of water. This functions the same as a Wall of Order spell, but requires no casting or components. Cool. Alright, if that's the case, I probably want to copy pasta this description here so that I'm not like, oh, I wonder what it does. This way we have it all in one sheet. There we go. Alright. Nice. I like it. So to rehash, because I'm gonna stop at 7:30. Let's see if we could rehash all this that we've done here for her. Okay. Whoop. Oh, calm down, roll 20. There we go. Alright, so She Who Hungers is a gargantuan aberration, super evil. She's got an armor class of 20. She's got, I don't know, 300-ish hit points. 60-foot speed, 60-foot climb speed, 60-foot swim. She's got 30 strength, 17 dex, 30 con, 19 int, 21 wisdom, 28 charisma, as befits a great old one. She's got great old one related skills that allow her to bamboozle people. She does have vulnerability to radiance. I'm debating if I'm going to keep that in. I think I will, because she lives at the bottom of the ocean where it's super dark. Radiant is supposed to represent light. You know, it might be kind of cool. Plus, there's really not a lot of good radiant spells. Damage immunity, she's immune to poison. She should probably be resistant to psychic. Does that seem right? Resistant to psychic. Since she's like a great evil horror. There we go. She's immune to charm, frighten, exhaustion, poisoned, prone, stun, and unconscious. She's got true sight 60 feet, dark vision 300 feet. Passive perception of 22, speaks languages, telepathy. We don't know what her challenge rating actually is, but it's doubled because mythic actions. Alright, advanced devil sight is whatever. Far banishment is kind of whatever. That's the whole point, is to get rid of her. Legendary resistances, mandatory magic resistance for sure. Maddening presence. Let's see. Definitely spelled presence wrong. And I still need to go and clean up her names, because there are different names everywhere. And formatting. But maddening presence, anybody that could see her, no range, just if you see her. You got to make that save versus confusion. So more than likely, we probably just want confusion as well, so we don't have to look it up. So let's do that. I have an all-in-one sheet here. There we go. Alright, cool. It's terribly formatted, but that's alright. So... And then reaction, life hunger. If a creature the hungry can see or gains hit points, the hungry gains 2 benefits until the end of its next turn. It has advantage on attack rolls, and it can use deep reach. Alright. So then she's deep reach to summon a tendril. Large tendril. Have to probably doesn't need a stat block because it's all kind of covered here. And then it's got its actual attack stats right there. Might want to move its bite, her bite, higher up. There we go. And then swallow, we'll move that higher up under bite. And we'll bring scoop up and put it underneath claws. Okay, or not. You could, there we go. Alright, let's see, so then she can create some hungers, but can only have 2 at any one time. She can create tentacles. If she creates hungers, though, that's her whole round, is just creating hungers. So, I don't know when that will come into play, but it is an option. I guess if they have a real, if she's feeling really cocky one round, she might go ahead and do that. let's see. Then we got legendary actions. She can command her spawn, and which would be the tentacles, and then she can command all her spawn for 2 points, which is pretty cool. And she could drop walls of water as needed. And there's the confusion effect from earlier. When she gets reduced to 0, she doesn't die. She comes back to life and essentially gains 400 more hit points because she's got these 4 hearts, and they're all really hard to hit. And yeah, there we go. Once those are all busted, she dies, but she also gains access to 2 new mythics. One is she can start using her reaction to protect her heart instead of making more tentacles. And 2, she can link a target's heart to one of her hearts, which makes it a bad candidate to attack. Alright, that sounds like it's going to be pretty damn cool. I may have to revisit it closer to the fights and maybe tweak it, have a sun version and a moon version so that the math is a little bit nicer. I know the moon group is going to be bringing a bunch of allies to the fight, and I'm just going to scoop them up and I'm just going to fucking eat them. So that's that. I know that the sun group is probably going to convince a very powerful werewolf to come with them. So that's going to be a thing. I've just got to make sure not to overwhelm them with action economy. That was definitely borderline happening in the game I ran last night. I was trying very hard to create the feeling of there being a war between one faction and another faction, but none of the heroes really wanted, except one, really wanted to engage the actual boss. So they kept messing with the ads, I guess, hoping that the NPCs would engage the boss. But that's, you know, they're the heroes. So it was starting to get pretty shaky there. But everything, in my opinion, worked out. And it's transitioning good into the second part of the fight, which should be kind of cool. That boss doesn't have a mythic encounter. Because it's a 2-part boss fight by design anyways. This boss, though, this will be a great opportunity to put those mythic mechanics into play. So I'm very excited for that. Alright, well, really appreciate everybody's help and inputs and company. If life gets really busy and I don't get a chance to finish her stats, I at least have something to work with. But I have a super strong foundation there. It just needs to be cleaned up with the names, and numbers need to be put more in line with what the party will be capable of dealing with, which DM math is just like a thing that the longer you do it and the more you pay attention to your party and what they're capable of, you get a better idea of like what falls into the right balance. The CR system, of course, is cool and all, but it's only a starting point. You have to, you do have to tweak those numbers to kind of fall in line. So, all right. Hope everybody has a great Saturday night, and I'll see you tomorrow.